You're okay.
No.
Peter. Oh.
Anybody have a tissue? Hi, my name's Andrea Arden. I'm an animal behavior expert, and today we're going to watch some clips of dogs in movies.
Well, how are we going to pick one?
Girls are 300, boys are 275, except for that little guy there. Him you could have for 200 even.
This one? You're so sweet. You're like a little clearance puppy.
So, you know, there are a number of places where you can find a dog that's appropriate for your family. I tend to encourage people to at least consider adoption for the simple fact that you're saving a life, obviously. But also there's so many dogs available of really every size, every type, every temperament. But certainly you can also purchase a dog. The one place I would suggest people not purchase a dog is a pet store for the simple fact that those animals are typically sourced from breeding situations that are not in the best interest of the animals.
What is it? What?
Tom Hanks is definitely not a dog behavior expert, which is fine. Oh goodness, if your dog's barking at night, I would say you definitely don't want to get up and have a long, drawn-out conversation with them, because that's probably the thing that your dog most wants.
No, you're not touching the water, the orange juice, crab-apple. What am I supposed to do? Make you a margarita?
So I would probably consider giving your dog more exercise before you go to bed. You might want to try something like a little bit of turkey, which has got L-tryptophan in it. It might make them a little sleepy. And you might want to invite them into the bed for a little snuggle. That makes my dog go to sleep.
It's not in here. You left it at the hotel. You go back and you get her busy bee. Go to the hotel and get busy bee. Run! Go!
Well, I used to show dogs, and I will tell you that Best in Show is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I think it only took it so far. There should definitely be a sequel. From a behavioral perspective, I think when a dog loses its favorite toy, sometimes I think it's the people who have more of a meltdown than the dog, and that's definitely the case here.
Don't look at anybody else. Don't look at the fat-ass losers or freaks. You look at me!
It's sort of like that starter baby syndrome thing happening, where, you know, the dog becomes so important in your life, which is great. I want people to think their dogs are important. They are important, but they kind of overanalyze things, and in this case, I think they definitely were overanalyzing the dog's reaction to losing Busy Bee.
A rancid apple core, 2 worm-eaten banana peels, a moldy rice cake, a dried-up pickle, tin of sardine bones, a pile of broken eggshells, an old smushed-up rotten gizzard with maggots all over it.
Okay, it's worth it.
It's a huge topic to talk about wild dogs. In this case, they're actually more like feral dogs, which is dogs that probably started out as domesticated and then roamed around, you know, areas like villages, that sort of stuff. In this case, it's an island. I would say that when dogs need to take care of themselves and be less reliant on a family, it's obvious that their instincts tend to show themselves more. And part of that is that they become more attuned to hunting. They might be more likely to resource guard. In this case, the resource is a bag of old, rotten food. I mean, you can definitely teach a dog to play basketball. I'm not sure he would play by all the rules set by the NBA.
Ain't no rules that the dog can't play basketball.
But it's actually, in essence, a relatively simple behavior. You break it down into little steps. So the first thing you would teach is to have a dog start to interact with a ball. We oftentimes start with a very, very low little net that's maybe a few inches off the ground, and you want them just to orient towards bopping the ball. The harder part of this would be raising the net, and then also having the dog use an object like a real basketball, which is so hard that potentially if they bop it, it could hurt their nose.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain.
Okay, that is so unbelievably unrealistic, but it's so moving anyway. I want to watch that one again.
We all have sorrow.
I tend to err on the side of being and suggesting that people be unbelievably cautious when it comes to allowing their animals to interact with wildlife. It's just not worth it, you know, to get a video of your animal interacting with wildlife, because the risk is so great, not only of them getting hurt physically, but also of potential contagions.
Open the mouth, between the gums. Look out, stomach, here it comes. Well, at least you left me the olive.
You know, it's so funny. People oftentimes say to dog trainers, it's so annoying, my dog won't stop begging. And in my mind, I'm thinking, Well, yeah, of course he's begging. He wants what you have. Like, he's looking at you. He's trying to get it from you. So it's a very normal response. I mean, all joking aside, if you had a piece of food that I wanted, I probably would be looking at you longingly, or at least looking at the food longingly, trying my best to get you to give me some. And I have words to use, dogs don't. When I watch movies or TV shows that have dogs in them, of course I love that because I love dogs. And I love that people are enjoying them in that format. But sometimes I worry a little bit that it sets an expectation for our dog's behavior that's kind of unrealistic. So I hope people watch these sorts of movies and TV shows and video clips with a sense of reality that as wonderful as it is to see these dogs, you should have realistic expectations for your own dogs, and also, most importantly, realistic expectations of what it takes to raise a really great companion dog.